A lot of people ask if they can write their own will or maybe download one off the internet or pick one up at the store or at the newspaper or something like that. And what we've found is that even though it may be valid, it may not do what you want it to do. So the will, in terms of planning, here's where your estate planning documents come in. Maybe you do some asset preservation planning, maybe a long-term care need comes up. And then this is where the after-death transfers take place, where we'd be using that will to distribute your estate and to handle how you want things to be transferred to different people. If you do your own will and you actually get it to be valid, you've got the signatures, the witnesses, this sort of thing, all taken care of, a lot of times what we find is it actually costs you more time and money over here. So even though people are doing it over here to save time and money, it ends up costing them more time and money over here. A lot of times they're not clear. You haven't actually put the language in there to say how you want it to be transferred, or there's confusion over an asset, or there's a couple of people getting the same asset, or lots of things can become unclear. A lot of times they're not built with flexibility in mind. What if my kid gets in a car wreck? Can I create a trust to help them out? What if, the if then, because life doesn't always turn out the way we think it should. And so if we don't have the ability to create some flexibility in a document, we may end up giving that child a huge inheritance, getting them kicked off their benefits, spending down the inheritance, and then they have nothing left. So we want to have flexibility in a document, which simpler documents and a lot of times documents that people do on their own just simply don't have that sort of flexibility. The cost, like I just mentioned, can cost you a lot more. You're saving time and money over here maybe, but the people that are helping with your estate after you pass away, a lot of times will end up spending more time and more money trying to distribute those assets just because the will wasn't necessarily clear. To that same end, a lot of times people will do their own general durable power of attorney and healthcare power of attorney. If you don't just die and use your will over here, but you have a long-term care need where we're using these sort of documents here, if they are not clear, if they don't have the language we want in them, they become very difficult to use, and a lot of times we simply can't use them. And it creates a lot of hardship and frustration, and it can be very, very expensive. One other tiny little point to that is we have this great law in Washington called TEDRA, and it's this Trust in the State Dispute Resolution Act. It's very similar to fairy dust, basically. And so if we have a very good, solid will with a lot of flexibility built in, what if this happens? What if this happens? We can hook into that and actually rewrite the will in some ways so that we can put that money that's going to the kid that was in the car accident, we can put it into a trust, even though there wasn't originally a trust set up for him. We've got the intention in that will. A very basic will that you get from the store or something like that is not going to have those additional terms and provisions that you can take advantage of.